This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Good evening, I'm Amanda Starantino. We start with the news at 6 with the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on Hoosier lives. According to the latest update from the State Department of Health, 1,379 people in Indiana have died from the virus. More than 24,000 have tested positive and more than 140,000 have been tested. And the state is preparing to open 30 additional testing sites this week. 20 sites opened last week, including this location in Danville. The widespread testing plan is a big part of Indiana's plan to reopen the state. On Friday, the state health commissioner urged people who meet the testing requirements to get tested.
I encourage anyone with symptoms, anyone who lives with someone who has symptoms, people who have been exposed and need a test to go back to work, and those individuals who are high risk, such as individuals who are over 65, people with conditions like diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, and those members of our minority populations who are at greater risk to come and get tested. If you're at high risk, please get tested, even if you don't have symptoms.
And the tests are free. You can register to get tested at lhi.care/COVID testing. We have a link to that site on our website at theindychannel.com. And today, many churches in most parts of Indiana held in-person Sunday services for the first time since the state's stay-at-home order took effect. That includes Faith Apostolic Church of Carmel. The church opened its doors with safety precautions, like only allowing the building to fill up to 50% capacity, and everyone is encouraged to wear masks and use hand sanitizer. The pastor and church members say nothing can replace the fellowship of gathering together.
I know during this lockdown, people have been suffering greatly. One of the most difficult things people are dealing with in times like this is just because of social distancing, loneliness, and not connecting. We are human beings made for connection.
And I feel like if we all open our arms to people, not physically because of coronavirus, but we can always just be a lending hand, and I just feel people are going to really need that right now, especially with all the economical issues and the emotional issues that it could cause on a person.
Under the state's reopening plan, restrictions on places of worship were lifted in most Indiana counties on Friday. That does not include Marion County. And some other major restrictions will be lifted starting tomorrow in most parts of Indiana. Hair salons and barbershops can open by appointment only. Restaurants will be allowed to open their dining rooms at 50% capacity. And these steps apply to businesses in counties that have been in stage 2 for a week with no major issues. Again, that does not include Marion County, where stay-at-home orders are in full effect through Friday. And today, RTV6 stopped by a Central Indiana restaurant as it prepares to reopen under this new normal. Sangiovese and Fisher's is making changes that customers will see and will not see. Tables will be seated at least 6 feet apart. Staff members will wear masks and gloves, and their temperatures will be taken. Owner Chris Evans says there is excitement but also nerves about getting back to business.
I think the first few weeks are going to be very tricky, very difficult. Not difficult, just tricky. You know, people are going to walk through that door a little nervous, but I think the people that walk through the door are ready to get service. They're ready to get that interaction. So we've got an approach where we are, our guests will have the option to text in their order from the table. They've got instructions. I don't know who's going to do that, but our staff will also come and take your order and interact with you. So we'll deal with each guest individually and see how they're feeling about it.
For now, you need to make a reservation to dine at Sangiovese, and the restaurant is offering carryout. And right there, that's the sound of hail falling in Putnam County as storms moved across central Indiana earlier today. RTV6's Alyssa Donovan joins us now with our forecast. Hey, Alyssa.
Hey, Amanda. So we are starting to see a lot of that calm down as we head into the evening. Just a few lingering scattered showers possible this evening and overnight. Most of that activity, though, will be to the north as we head overnight. That's all from this cold front that's continuing to push across the region. What that's going to do next is bring us some cooler temperatures. So we're going to start our week very cold. Now, I want to show you, too, we still have some gusty winds along with this system as it's pushing across the area. We peaked at about 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Indianapolis earlier this afternoon. We're still at 39 miles per hour with those wind gusts. Sustained winds are about 20 miles per hour, so we're going to continue to see those gusty winds overnight. The good news with that, it's going to keep any frost at bay that could develop overnight as well. So as we head into the evening, temperatures will be into the 40s, dropping to about 44 degrees by 10 p.m. Just a small chance of those scattered showers. Tomorrow morning, a cool start, but we do have a warming trend as we head through next week. I'll have those details in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa. Today is Mother's Day, and for many people, the holiday is a way to celebrate the women who mean the most to them. But for some, the day can be painful and emotional. RTV6's Troy Washington explains how donor advocates are helping uplift families who may be struggling this Mother's Day.
Janice Langford never thought she'd bury her son at 23, nor did she think she'd be writing this letter to other mothers standing in her shoes.
You know, I had the red heart on my license, our whole family did, not knowing that we would need it.
In 2014, her son Justin died after he was involved in a car accident.
I started volunteering a year, 6 to 8 months after my son's accident.
Her son was a donor, and now she's a donor advocate with the Indiana Donor Network.
He was able to save 5 lives and make life better for over 70 other people with tissue donations as well. So he, heart, both of his lungs, both of his kidneys, and his pancreas and liver. And then tissue-wise, both corneas, skin, tendons.
Mother's Day is hard for Langford, no matter how many years go by. But it's also a tough day for Kevin Sheets, as the day reminds him of his wife, Michelle.
Honoring her on Mother's Day has been kind of hard last couple. I mean, she's been gone since February of 2018. It's been hard for the boys and I.
He says it's her beautiful eyes that he misses the most, but not just that. It's her giving spirit and heart for others.
As giving as my wife was and as selfless as she was, I didn't want the opportunity missed for somebody else to, receive.
Because she too was a donor, parts of her live on. And just knowing she's gone but was able to save someone else's life gives this family comfort, even on days like Mother's Day when they have to go on without her. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
And the Langfords are hosting their annual Justin's Run for Hope to raise money for scholarships. More details can be found on our website at theindychannel.com. Coming up, as the U.S. faces the worst unemployment rate since the Great Depression, a top U.S. economic leader says the numbers do not tell the whole story.
No matter how many people I talk to that say, sorry, buddy, we're not hiring right now, it does not stop me one bit.
And what you can do to put yourself in a position to succeed when the job market opens back up. You're watching RTV6 News at 6.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
From the White House to flying the friendly skies, COVID-19 concerns continue. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the latest on the impact of the pandemic around the country.
Several Trump administration officials now under quarantine following possible exposure to the coronavirus. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, will start a modified quarantine, staying at home and working remotely while taking appropriate precautions to mitigate risk. Also in self-quarantine for 14 days, CDC Director Robert Redfield and FDA Commissioner Stephen Hahn. The news coming after 2 confirmed cases of the virus at the White House. One of the president's personal valets and the vice president's press secretary, Katie Miller, who is married to senior Trump advisor Stephen Miller. On Saturday, White House staffers were seen with masks, but with senior military and security leaders, no one in the room was wearing one. The virus taking a devastating toll on the economy. More than 20 million jobs lost last month. Unemployment now at 14.7%, the highest since the Great Depression. But the president's chief economic advisor trying to put a positive spin on the numbers, arguing the situation might not be permanent.
About 80% of it was furloughs and temporary layoffs. It suggests strongly that the cord between the worker and the business is still intact.
An ABC News Ipsos poll shows 64% of Americans say reopening now is too dangerous, but frustration is growing. States now grappling with how to get their economies reopened without sacrificing safety.
There's evidence that when countries relax their economic controls, the virus tends to flare back up again.
Dr. Ethan Weiss was among 25 medical professionals returning to San Francisco after volunteering in New York who found themselves on a crowded United Airlines flight. He expressed concerns before boarding.
I've been taking care of COVID patients for the last 2 weeks, and I'm more scared about getting on the airplane on Saturday than I am about walking into the hospital.
United not commenting on why social distancing was not implemented, but saying we've overhauled our cleaning and safety procedures and implemented a new boarding and deplaning process to promote social distancing, adding everyone was asked to wear face coverings consistent with their new policy. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
And as we begin to step back into society and relax social distancing, healthcare professionals warn we may see an increase in new COVID-19 cases. I spoke with Kristen Kelly, the Director of Infection Prevention at IU Health, and she says although new cases in the U.S. have leveled off slightly due to social distancing, there is still some continued increased transmission of new cases in Indiana. Kelly estimates we may have 80% of Hoosiers who have not had the virus yet, meaning when we come out of social distancing, many people may get it. And because of this, she says Hoosiers need to use good judgment.
Remember that a good proportion of the population in our community is not immune to this virus. So as we go out, more and more people are probably going to encounter it and potentially acquire it. It's nothing to be afraid of, but I do think that it's something that we should understand is going to happen and be prepared for it. It is time for us to venture out a bit more into our communities to see folks again, but we should try to do that in a slow and steady approach.
Kelly recommends Hoosiers to follow these simple tips. Keep a small circle of family and friends to begin to go out with. Screen your family and friends before gatherings. Avoid overcrowded locations. It takes just one sick person in a crowd to spread the virus. And minimize your risk with good hand hygiene, wearing face masks, and frequent cleaning. Balance risk and be flexible. Prepare mentally to go through a few seasons of going on and off social distancing. And be patient with others as we are all coping with this new normal. Alyssa.
And we are going to see things calm down as we head into the evening. We saw some hail and thunderstorms move through the area earlier today. Now we are starting to see that subside. We could see a stray shower yet this evening and overnight, but most of us are going to continue to see dry conditions and then dry conditions as we head into the start of our work week. Gusty winds are going to stick around tonight and into tomorrow, but besides that, it's going to be a cool and dry start to the week. We have a bit of a warming trend that will get us close to 80 degrees by Saturday. I want to show you right now on our radar, we do have just a few lingering showers yet around the area, but all of that active thunderstorm weather has moved out. We're going to be left with this cold front that's sweeping across the region. That's going to bring us some cooler temperatures as we head overnight and into tomorrow. Temperatures will be into the 30s. Now, we also have those gusty winds going on. Those wind gusts close to 30 miles per hour right now. We're going to see those drop a little bit overnight, but still going to see those gusts close to 30 miles per hour at midnight tonight. So you might notice that as you're heading to bed, just hearing some of that gusty winds outside. Also sustained winds about 20 miles per hour. So continuing to see those windy conditions and those cooler temperatures. Now the good news is those winds will help keep any frost at bay overnight tonight as we see those temperatures dropping into the 30s. We're going to be right around 38 degrees in Indianapolis to start our Monday morning. So a cool start, but then we will warm up as we head through the week. We'll be into the 50s on Monday, 60s Tuesday, and then we'll continue that climb Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday into the upper 70s, close to 80 by Saturday. But that second half of the week comes with a bit of a price. We have showers and thunderstorms returning to the forecast on Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday before things dry out by Sunday. Tomorrow, highs will be into the mid-50s across the area, so about 20 degrees below average. Usually we're in the low 70s with partly cloudy skies and those gusty northwesterly winds. That's going to keep it a little bit chilly outside. Taking a look at that 7-day forecast. 53 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies and breezy. 60 on Tuesday, partly sunny skies, so we'll see a little bit more sunshine in the forecast. That's going to be a good day to get outside. Small chance of showers on Wednesday with mostly cloudy skies, and then we start to see those showers and thunderstorms return to the forecast Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But look at Saturday, close to 80 degrees.
Nice to see those temperatures going up. Thanks, Alyssa. Although millions of people are unemployed and job opportunities may seem hard to find, there is hope. Scripps reporter Chris Conte explains how practice, networking, and keeping an open mind can help you rebound.
It's unbelievably stressful.
As a producer in Los Angeles, Greg Morrison is more familiar than most with being in between jobs. But this is different.
I think the hardest part about being unemployed right now, there's only so much you can do, and the frustration of that drives you crazy.
Both Greg and his girlfriend are among the millions out of work because of the pandemic. This 33-year-old is constantly searching for jobs that don't exist.
You have to do something to keep yourself sane in these times. I have to go to bed every night knowing that I tried to get a job.
But experts say what Greg is doing is actually the best option, because when the job market does open back up, he'll be poised for success.
You want to be down in the dumps about it, and you want to be stressed about it, but then everybody else is going through the same thing.
I think the biggest thing is to know that everything happens for a reason. Having that mindset leads you to better opportunities.
That's Peter Swan. He's a recruiter for WorkHuman. He understands losing your job can be incredibly stressful, but he also says to keep an open mind.
So I think it really starts with the mindset, meaning how do we look at this situation and grasp the situation to understand that perhaps this is a way to rewrite your story moving forward.
Some tips he has for job searchers. Be flexible. Maybe consider an industry you never thought of. Practice interviewing, even if it's just at home with a spouse or roommate. Think of stories. Use this downtime to come up with stories to share in an interview. Keep networking. It will be vital when companies start hiring again. As for jobs that may return first, analysts think industries with low person-to-person contact will be high on the list. Jobs connected to large sporting events, concerts, conferences, much lower.
Just remember that you will get through this, and we, will get through this as well.
No matter how few jobs there are being posted on anything, or no matter how many people I talk to that say, sorry, buddy, we're not hiring right now, it does not stop me one bit.
As the country rebounds, attitude will be everything. In Boston, I'm Chris Conte reporting.
Working for you. Newly released surveillance video is now part of the investigation into the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. ABC's Zachary Keish has the latest on this case.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigations is reviewing new video in relation to the shooting death of 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery. Law enforcement reviewing this video appearing to show Ahmaud Arbery in the moments before he died. This surveillance footage was obtained by ABC affiliate First Coast News. Attorneys representing Arbery's family says it was Ahmaud in the video, but added he wasn't breaking the law. This is consistent with the evidence already known to us. Ahmaud Arbery was out for a jog. He stopped by a property under construction where he engaged in no illegal activity and only remained for a brief period. Ahmaud did not take anything from the construction site. Gregory and Travis McMichael, a former cop, and his son, who are both white, are now charged with felony murder in the case. According to police reports, on February 11th, about 2 weeks before the shooting, Travis called police to report a black man in a house nearby under construction. He chased him. Then on February 23rd, the McMichaels told officers they armed themselves and followed Arbery, who was jogging, because they said he looked like the man seen in these surveillance images given to ABC News by a local lawyer. Arbery's family maintained it's not him in those images.
Whatever they're trying to make out to just try to justify for what they did, they can't do it.
If he committed a crime, why didn't you call and start him? But you came out here with guns that you hunt the animal down.
Video of the February 23rd incident has been seen by millions, leading to protests and calls for justice. Two prosecutors recused themselves from the case due to their prior working relationship with Gregory McMichael. Agents with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation arrested the father and son this past Thursday, 74 days after the killing, but just 2 days after taking over the case. And now, Georgia's Attorney General saying his office will be looking into how the Ahmaud Arbery case was handled from the outset, adding the family, the community, and the state of Georgia deserve answers. So far, Gregory and Travis McMichael have not hired legal representation. Zachary Quiche, ABC News, New York.
Directly from a U.S. warehouse. We're going to continue seeing some gusty winds overnight. Those sustained winds around 20 miles per hour, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Those will stick with us into Monday as well. It's going to be a cool start to the day with temperatures only in the 30s tomorrow morning, 53 degrees for the high. Warming trend for the rest of the week, showers and thunderstorms on Thursday.
All right, thank you, Alyssa, and thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. Join us for the news at 11.